Hey YouTube, welcome back to Shane playing Spirit Island. As promised, this time we're taking on England. This will be the last time that we're fighting a level 0 adversary. Um, After that, we start to bump things up. This will still put us at base difficulty 1, which doesn't give us much of a score bonus, um, but also doesn't add a lot of challenge. So, for England, we not only have to worry about a stage 2 escalation, like we have previously, and this one is again on each board with a town or city, which is going to be all the boards by the time stage 2 happens. That's just, there's only one board, and emptying out a board that early is not usually realistic. And if I do, I've probably won on fear. So, anyway, basically, on my board, I am going to build in the land with the most towns and cities. So England, they really love building. They're just going to build in the place that has the most buildings. I do like this ability in some ways because it enables some very strong manifesting potential. When the enemy is clustering, Thunderspeaker can actually kind of be down with that. Um, I've overbunched in at least one of these videos and put way more people in a place that I needed to destroy it. And if they do that in the late game, which is sort of the mid game, then I can be down for that. However, I do have to keep an eye on it because if there are ever 7 or more cities or towns in a single land, the invaders win. However, if there are 7 or more cities or towns in a single land, then things have gone very, very wrong and very, very differently than they have in all of these games. So I don't think that is much of a threat. So here we go. Let's see what our initial setup looks like. Okay, we are close to the mountains where they just explored. That's nice. I think this is actually a perfect setup for our first turn ambush slash manifest. We can ambush here and stop them from building. We can allow them to build here. We can move in there, and we can just take out everything in there. Maybe not everything. Let's see. A manifest at this point. We'll be able to push 2 Dahan in there. We'll have 2 presence in there, so that's 4 damage. That will kill the city and the explorer, but not the town. So we will still need to defend their next turn, but we'll have our words of warning ready, so that's just fine. Alright. Go ahead and toss this bad boy down. We are going to manifest and ambush like we said we would. Finish playing cards. Do the ambush now. Go ahead and move a guy in there, even though we didn't necessarily need to. And where are they going next? Into the wetlands. Alright. Definitely got my eye on this wetland since it's about to build a city next turn. Not a ton I can do about it. I could theoretically do my manifesting over there if I wanted to. I could bring some guys in, clear that out. But that puts me in a very weak position over here. Words of Warning is only a defend 3, so they would be doing 3 damage. That would blight, that would kill a guy, that would kill one of my presents, and probably kill 2 presents because I'm Thunderspeaker. So I think letting this place get out of control is a mistake, even if it means having to let this go, possibly end up blighting up here. And yeah, of course I don't like that because it's so deep on the island, and I'd rather eliminate their sources of invaders out here early. But nonetheless, I think the right call is to manifest here. So we are going to gather the warriors. Gonna grab this and this and go with them. We are not going to push. And then we are going to manifest. Alright. So, now we only have 2 cards. We're going to play those 2 cards. We're going to stick with the energy game because that's been working for us. Let's see here. It's always very tempting to escalate further, closer to my more powerful state quicker. But I having done that in some games, I find that with Thunderspeaker, it often tends to um, cause me to not be able to deal with things, and the board state can get a little bit out of control. And as you may have noticed, I like it when things are under control. So, we're definitely going to be words of warning here. Voice of Thunder, we could use either way, but probably we want the fear. We could potentially jump into here and try to do something about it early next turn, but I think this early in the game we're just going to let a blight happen there, even though it's going to suck a little. Alright, so with that in mind, we probably want our presence to be here, because I don't think this place is a lost cause at all. I think we can totally handle that. Put in our cards. Words of warning. Go in here. Alright. So, Gather the Warriors is a gather 2, push 2. I think we're probably going to want to Words of Warning here, and we'd like to have 2 people there for that so that we can wipe it out. I think we're probably going to let this go and just let it blight. We want to start keeping an eye on the sands and things we can do there. So, probably we gather into... Well, here's a thought. If we split up, we say gather, but we don't actually gather. And then we push like so and like so. And that gives us the ability to deal with this, but also have 2 here right off the bat without using Voice of Thunder for that. And then we can Voice of Thunder, get some easy fear off of it, and call that good. So, obviously reclaiming. I don't think there's any question at this point in the game. We go for minor. Okay. As previously stated, don't really like this card. Don't like adding Blight. Neither of these get us Wind. Let's at least glance at the text. This one gives us Fear, removes Blight. We definitely have undervalued removing Blight, I think. We could be getting a little bit better score by removing some Blight. This one also removes Blight. Just has to be a place with Dahan, which is pretty easy to pull off. It has Animal. I don't need a lot of Animal, though. I just need 1 in any given set of cards. This one is the one I'm immediately drawn to because of the symbols. And obviously that's always a great effect to have. That is a potentially useful effect. It costs 0. I think Enticing Splendor is probably the pick we go for here. Someday we're going to start choosing to take Blight removal, but today is not that day. I'm a little stuck in my ways. Alright. So, Call to Migrate, always really great to see in Thunderspeaker. These other ones, pushing towns is nice. You don't see that effect on many cards, and especially on a minor for 0. Happens in the slow, but that's still you gotta think about it. This one, if target land has explorers, push the whole thing. So yeah, I think I think if we could push towns in the fast phase, we would take it in an instant. I don't think it's worth it in the slow phase because it doesn't save us from anything going on the board right now. Push them, otherwise remove a blight. This one's got some decent utility. It only targets mountains and jungles. How good is that for us? So we start with a blight in a jungle. The next blight we get is not going to be in a mountain or jungle. So that gives us 1 blight removal and then potentially has the ability to purge all explorers from mountain or jungle. It's slow, but that could be useful after they go. It's still going to be really hard to decide to use this on a turn when there isn't blight currently in mountains and jungles. And it doesn't have the wind we like. 2 damage, pushing a guy, doing it slow. I think we're calling to migrate. Alright. A little stuck in my playstyle here. I keep wanting to look at the other options, but in the end, I'm generally taking the same handful of cards. So, this turn, they are ravaging in the wetlands. We've given up on this wetland already. Purge it from our mind. Nothing we are choosing to do about it. Yeah. So, definitely a words of warning for this one, so that we save it. We could theoretically manifest here during the slow phase. We're going to have, if we manifest, we've got the ability to move 2 guys in there. That would do 4 damage. I'm not sure that's worth the 3 energy that we're paying for it. I think instead we probably want to deal with some of these sands. So probably either sudden ambush or enticing splendor is how we want to do that. Enticing splendor has to be me at range 0, so we could pull him here, for example. I think enticing splendor, given that it is free, is probably the one we go with here as a way to prevent a build. Alright. Let's see how this goes. So we warn here. We entice here. Gather. Interesting. We could gather from here, which actually could have saved this place. Hang on, is it or? Yeah, it's or. We'll just gather from here, as we were planning. Okay, let's see if the fear card saves this land. Okay, it is an explore prevention. I didn't quite get the full message. They're not exploring into lands with at least 2 to hide. That could be useful. There's some land types that would be good on. Coastal. So they're not going to explore this one. That's not bad. That definitely keeps this land clear. They're not going to build there. So that's nice. Okay. So let's see what our plan for next turn is. We're worried about this ravage down here. We don't have an amazing way to deal with that. The only fast phase card we have is Sudden Ambush. We can kill both of the explorers down here with an ambush, so that's nice. But we need to get at least 1 more guy down there during this slow phase. Possibly 2 more. At that point, without a defend, I'm going to lose probably 2 presence. But maybe I'm okay with it. I think I'm going to be okay with it. I think we're just going to accept that. So, where do we want to take them from? Probably, I think we still need some people back here because this is all still problematic. So I think we take them from here. So, 1, 2, 1, 2. Do we gather them both? Or push them both, rather? I think we probably do. Alright. So, sudden ambush will take this down to just a town, which is definitely worth doing. Where are we at presence-wise? We could play 3 cards, and we've got tons of energy already, so we could definitely manifest this turn. With 3 cards, a 3-card play, we could probably get all 3 of these into this space. We could get that 6-point manifest that we need to clear this place out, so it doesn't become a problem again later. So I think that's worth doing. Let's put this here. And then we can play ambush, manifest, and then decide what we want to do from there. Call to migrate gives us a lot of flexibility about moving. Voice of Thunder is less movement, but has the option of being fear. Voice of Thunder also gives us a Lead the Furious Assault, which might be useful over here. So let's take the Voice of Thunder. Alright, finish playing cards, see how this goes. Sudden ambush here. Alright. Oh, that is our second blight. Whoops. Well, we'll see how this goes. Okay. So, boop, boop. Okay. Well then, they have continued to build here. This is becoming a big problem. The Bladed Island card is saying at the start of each invader phase, I have to either forget a power or destroy one of my presents. I just lost a lot of presents, so I don't like that. I have been gaining a decent number of powers, though, some of which are becoming disposable pretty quickly. So maybe I'm just going to keep grabbing miners so that I have something to feed this memory problem. Okay. So, looking at the board now, they're planning to build here next turn, and here. That's not great. But I would really like to annihilate this place because England's ability is just going to keep piling things on there. So, if I get everything here into there, which I can do pretty easily, then that gets me 6 damage, which doesn't annihilate it. But then Lead the Furious Assault finishes it off? Yes. So that is a valid way to handle that. Oh, they are planning to ravage the coast, but I think at this point... Let's see. That does give us an easy way to handle this, and I can probably get up here and defend this. So yeah, I think we gather the warriors and just take everyone in there. We don't push. We manifest. Destroying almost everything. Get to Terra level 2. And we assault. And that looks good. Then we... Our Voice of Thundering. It's real tempting here to push these guys into somewhere closer to where they can be relevant down here. But I honestly think we might be able to win during like the Ravage phase next turn. So I think we're just going to take the Fear so that we can get even closer to that. So, because we've got at this point 2 Fear cards queued up. That helps a lot. We are reclaiming. We're taking minor powers. Alright, real quick evaluation. None of these have air. That's dumb. Sap is pretty nice. A defend 5 is always nice, and bring it from range 0 to 1 just for having air, which I always have, is nice. Don't think I care about that at all. Like, the sun is nice, and that's about it. Defend 6 is always good, but I'm actually a little low on presence right now, so getting that Sacred Site is not trivial. And Dark and Tangled Woods. I mean, it does get us 2 Fear during the fast phase, which, as we discussed, that could get us up to 3 cards, which is pretty cool. That could help us win the game even harder, depending on how things go. Let's see here. Honestly, we're late enough in the game that Blight removal would be nice, but I don't have any way to get to water, so that doesn't do it for us. Let's grab those Dark and Tangled Woods, just for the lulz. Okay. So we're sadly not getting fast stuff this turn. If there is a next turn, we get it next turn, because we uncover that air up there. So, the way we take care of this in the fast phase is we ambush and Words of Warning this place, and that causes it to ravage, killing off that town, which ends the game, I believe. Yeah. So ambush. Oh, hold on. Oh, I still have to gain more cards? Sure. I forgot I still had another card gain. We'll just take Rain of Blood. It's got air. I don't care. Alright. So, ambush. You know what? Let's undo. Instead, we should look around, see if any of these remove Blight. They do not. See if any of them add Dahan. They do not. Okay, going with my initial idea. Adding Dahan in the base game is hard. In the expansion with the event deck, often the event deck adds more Dahan, which gives you extra points. But I'm noticing, I haven't played the base game all by itself as much, and I'm noticing now that I'm going back to it that adding Dahan is not a very common thing in this game. Okay, so we were deciding that sudden ambush plus Words of Warning gets it done here. We've got one more card play. It has to be one of the cheap ones, but it's not going to matter much anyway. So let's just do Dark and Tangled Woods to make things even spookier. Finish playing cards. Okay, so wait, if I'm using Dark and Tangled Woods, I don't even need Word of Warning. Let's back that up. Dark and Tangled Woods and Enticing Splendor. That seems good. Can do some enticing. So, our ideal case here, we get a defend 3 going. We perhaps we ambush here, bringing this guy up, bringing my presence along with it. Cool. We can entice if we want to. Don't think. So let's see. Building in the sand. I guess there's no reason not to. Hang on. Enticing Splendor has to be range 0. That's why it wasn't letting me play it before, because there was no place to play it. I don't think we even use that one. I think we just leave it there for the symbols. Alright. We forget a power. It's probably Rain of Blood. Rain of Blood. Alright. Each player removes some guys from a land with 2 or fewer invaders. I guess we just dunk on this guy. We're defending a lot. And we can replace a town. Well, sure. We'll just win this way. Victory. Alrighty. That got a little hairy. We definitely got a lot more blight than I want, which is to say 1 more blight than I want, which caused us to have a blighted island. Our score, let's see how much that removed from our score. We ended up just a tiny bit behind our previous games. We ended up with too much blight to score as well as we have been. I think we're going to start looking at some better scores once we have that difficulty multiplier a little higher. That extra 5 points per difficulty point makes a big difference, and I think that right now we are pretty much optimal as far as getting things done, and having the adversaries do a little bit more isn't necessarily going to stop us from winning at a similar rate. Anyway, thanks for watching. I think next time we are back to Sweden, bumping it up to difficulty 1, and we'll see how that goes for us. Bye.